I spent days buried in documents, combing through every rule, every subclause, every contradiction. The HOA's no flags policy had one glaring oversight. It didn't limit the height of a structure on private property, nor did it define what size a flag could be if flown on such a structure. My mind began to spin with possibilities. If they wanted to be petty, I could match their energy tenfold. It wasn't enough to keep my small flag. I wanted to make a statement so big they couldn't ignore it. I knew exactly who to call to make it happen. It started with a single sheet of paper slipped under my door. The HOA claimed my modest front yard flag violated aesthetic uniformity. The notice demanded immediate removal, citing an obscure clause buried deep in the bylaws. I stood there staring at the fine print, feeling the sting of unnecessary control. This wasn't just about a piece of cloth fluttering in the wind. It was about principle. My family had flown that flag for years without a single complaint. Now it seemed they were testing how far they could push me. I decided that this time they had gone too far. After months of failed attempts, the HOA quietly amended their bylaws, but only for future cases. My flagpole was grandfathered in, untouchable. The massive flag still flew proudly, an unmissable reminder that rules can be challenged when they cross the line. Over time, the HOA stopped sending letters, and the neighborhood adapted to its new landmark. It had started as a fight over a small piece of cloth, but it became something bigger, a symbol of standing your ground. Every time the wind caught its edges, I was reminded. Sometimes the best revenge is simply refusing to back down. The HOA struck back with letters, threats, and emergency meetings. They claimed the flag was a public nuisance and visual disruption. But I had the law on my side. Every attempt they made was met with my carefully documented defense. The more they pushed, the more attention the flag drew. Local news stations covered the feud, turning it into a public spectacle. Strangers sent messages of support, some even driving out to see it in person. What the HOA saw as defiance, others saw as inspiration. The pressure was mounting, but it wasn't me who was cracking. On a clear Saturday morning, the flagpole stood silent, its prize wrapped in protective canvas. As the sun climbed higher, I pulled the cord. The fabric cascaded down, revealing a flag so immense it dwarfed every house in sight. Its colors burned bright against the blue sky, visible from miles away. Cars slowed to take pictures. Neighbors stepped outside, shading their eyes. The HOA president's jaw tightened as she stood on the sidewalk, powerless. My heart swelled with satisfaction. They had banned flags to enforce conformity. Now my flag was the most noticeable thing in the entire neighborhood. The contractors arrived at dawn. Steel beams, heavy machinery, and the sound of drills shattered the usual calm of the street. Neighbors peeked from their windows, whispers spreading like wildfire. Day after day, the frame rose higher, towering over rooftops. The HOA board members drove by slowly, eyes narrowed, scribbling notes but saying nothing. By the end of the week, the structure was unmistakable. A massive reinforced flagpole, reaching toward the clouds. I had ordered a custom flag, larger than any in the state, ready to unfurl in the breeze. The countdown to the reveal had officially begun.